Hey you, I'm your nutrition coach. My name is Jackie Poole. Welcome to Happiness is a Healthier Habit. Let's get today's episode started. Hello. Welcome back to another episode, my mama friend. I am so excited to get back on track. This was the first week of school for my Julian, so he started kindergarten, and obviously I've talked about in my Instagram how I've actually started homeschooling the other two boys this year. So welcome back to the podcast. Today is going to be a little different. I kind of wanted to talk about my homeschooling journey these past few weeks. And, I've been talking to a lot of moms in the past couple of years, and they've all kind of came to the same conclusion that homeschooling is one of the best things that you can do for your kids, with your kids. And I've read a couple of books already. One of them is the Read-aloud family, which I'm currently on. And the other one, I got it off Amazon, and I believe it's called Homeschooling for Beginners. And that was such a great read for me to give me a guide of the types of homeschooling, routines and the way people do it and the types of homeschooling. I'm kind of like a type A person. And so I like to just kind of have a schedule of things to do, but I'm also very lenient. So from what I've gathered in my experience these past few weeks is that I kind of want to get the schooling out of the way as quickly as possible, so we can have the rest of the day to do whatever. And it's been very interesting, and I just kind of want to share a little life update about how it's going. I've been doing it for a month now, and I feel like it's coming together, and also maybe get some tips on something that's really been dear and important to me, to not lose yourself in this process. Because when I started this homeschooling journey, and from what I've gathered and in my head and talking to my mom and my peers and my friends, is you're literally with your kids 24/7. But I also think I'm not going to get this time back. They are going to know that I was with them and I enjoyed every moment, whether it was good or bad. Like, it's going to come at an end, like where they're not going to need me, where they're not going to be home, where they're not going to want mom to carry me and give me a hug, and those morning hugs or those morning walks that we've been doing. And so I've been enjoying that, but also like how to not lose yourself in this process. So let's just start with, I started homeschooling with the end of July. In the beginning, it was a lot of figuring things out. One, because our neighbors are in summer, and I kind of wanted to just do a little bit every day. It wasn't full on like how I'm doing it now, but it was just, hey, let's wake up and do a little bit of work, right? Whether it's our reading lessons, which I actually bought this book, 100 Lessons and Teach Your Kid How to Read. I've noticed I've done that with Julian. I feel like Adrian and Nicholas are a little bit more advanced for that book because of their ages, but Julian, my kindergarten, has picked up quite quickly and is actually reading some words. It's sometimes pulling teeth because maybe I haven't found a fun way to do it with him, but when he does want to do it, he enjoys it very, very much, and he's like, wow, I read that word, or high fives, or try to make it exciting. So it's been a lot of figuring out. And what's worked for us, what doesn't, and how everyone, is in the same page now as far as like, okay, this is what we're going to do in the mornings. And so from what I've gathered, we've usually finished our work between 11 and 12. And so granted, my kids are already up in the mornings. And so we're done by 11 and 12. And that really leaves us the rest of the day for other things. There's been days that we've just gone to the park. There's been other days that we've gone putt golfing. I've tried doing origami with them the other day, just kind of like to follow instructions from a book, or even doing some YouTube videos with that, but I'm always with them. I try to let them do their work on their own, so I'm not constantly like supervising, because it is something that I want them to kind of start doing. Like, do everything you can, and then we'll go back at the end and I'll figure it out. But obviously there's going to be a point in time where I'm not going to be able to figure things out. Like, it's out of my scope of like understanding something. So it is some things that they are going to have to figure out on their own, but that's like later in the future, maybe middle school, maybe high school stuff. It's funny, I was talking to my mom the other day, and Adrian's asked me this week, Mom, what did you want to be when you grow up? And it's funny because when I wanted to grow up, I remember distinctly, I knew I wanted to be a nurse. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I knew I wanted to be with kids, to work with kids. And oddly enough, I tried to go for a nursing degree, and my illegal studies didn't let me continue on with the nursing program at the time that I was in school, so I couldn't do the nursing program. And so I decided to just work. I didn't go in as a teacher because of my legal status, I couldn't go and do that right away. So I opted out of that. So I started working and doing other things. And then, I got my medical assistant certification. And after that, I immediately knew I wanted to work with pediatrics. I wanted to hold babies and I wanted to talk to kids all day. And I did that for almost a decade. I worked for Dr. Bott for 3 years. And then I worked for Texas Children's for 5 years. So, almost 10, a total of 8. And I've enjoyed every moment of it as far as just spending time with littles. And it's so funny because going back to what Adrian asked me the other day, what do I want to be when I grow up? Never in a million years did I think I was going to be their teacher. And so it's taken a lot of patience from me that I didn't know I could muster up, because it is a little bit frustrating because the kids are used to the teachers holding them their hand and doing a lot of things for them. But also at the same time, they are behind in their studies. And constantly I was told by teachers, they're behind. They're not where they're supposed to be because of the standardized tests that Texas has here. And so that was a little concerning and upsetting, but I'm actually very happy that the programs that I've chosen really help and are more advanced than traditional schools. So I know I'm doing extra. I know they're putting in the work, and I know they're actually understanding what they're doing. So that makes me feel really good, especially starting strong and really continuing on these past couple of weeks that we've been doing this. So again, we're pretty much done with schoolwork by 11-12 the latest. Then we have lunch. Then we literally have the rest of the afternoon for whatever. We can go to the park. We can go, there's some classes that I've been wanting to do for the kiddos. There's a couple of groups that I've joined that started creating like meetups for homeschoolers, which is awesome. And all that said, I still have to make sure that we come back by 4 o'clock, which is when my kindergarten comes back home. So we start our days with walks and breakfast and really slow, and I've really been enjoying that. But with our afternoons, I signed up Niko for an art class since he kind of has a knack for it, and so he has that Wednesdays. Adrian keeps me pretty busy for soccer Tuesdays, Thursdays. Sometimes he has practice Fridays, and Saturdays obviously he has a game. And so by the time we come home, practice is pretty we needed to have dinner already, and it's like bedtime mode. So like from Tuesday to Thursday is pretty much, once we come home, we need to be ready to go to sleep. So because I do wake up pretty early, I started this episode with something that's really important to me, is to not lose yourself in the process. And by me making sure that we're going to bed at a decent time, which is not 8 anymore, it's turning into like 9:30, 9:45, we're pretty much all in bed, to make sure that I'm up in the morning. And even with everything going on, I've thought about just kind of giving up the business and not focusing on it, but I really love what I do. I love talking about my life, and maybe inspire people to make some changes, advice, tips. And so I want to keep this going. And so I really don't know where happier you is a healthier you is going to be going, but I know I'm still going to be making these episodes, and I still want to provide a lot of valuable information out there, because I feel like this is my thing. Like, I love what I do, and I want to keep providing this information. And so if you like this episode, if you like the podcast, please share it to people that you know, so more people tune in and listen to it. Like I said, this is part of who I am, and I enjoy doing this. This is a really good outlet for me. So, whether it's recording episodes for the podcast, I'm also making time for the gym. Now it's looking a little bit different. Now I won't take my time at the gym anymore. I usually get up and go. I would usually be by the gym at by 5. But with school starting, I'm waking up a little earlier. I'm making sure I'm having everything ready at night, so when I would just wake up and go. So I'm at the gym by 4:30. So, my workouts are a lot shorter now, but they're working. I still feel good. I'm still running. I'm incorporating all the things that I like to do, just everything before the kids wake up, because that's literally the only time that I have peace, and it's silent, and nobody's fighting over anything. Nobody's struggling over math problem. Nobody is needing me at that time. So I make that work for me, and that might look completely different for you at a different time. You might be in a different season, but I feel like that is just the time that I have to be alone with myself, with my thoughts. I was actually in the sauna this morning, and somebody said, I've never seen anybody bring a book in the sauna. And he is not the first person that's told me that. There's been a couple of people that have mentioned that. And I've made it an intention not to be on my phone first thing in the morning. Sometimes I'm not perfect, but sometimes, I take the pictures and I'll save it for later and post later. And I've been really good about just taking my books and reading them in the sauna, or even just having conversations with the people that I've met and, enjoy seeing pretty much, constantly when I go there. So that is one thing that homeschooling for me is very rewarding, because I get to spend all of this time and not miss more than I want anymore with my kids. I want to be there for them as much as I can. But also, it would be very easy for me to lose myself in the shuffle, in the mix of things. So I wanted to talk about some key takeaways that have helped me stay me, especially in this starting season of this new era that we are in, right? Because it's definitely not what I'm used to. I'm used to sending the kids to school. I'm used to having all of this me time and mingling and going to things, and sometimes that's just not going to happen, and I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that because I know I want to be there for my kids, and so I just got to prioritize some things, and some things just have to go on the back of the to-do list, and that's okay, and not everything's going to get done, but when I can, I'm showing up. Like today, I'm showing up for you, I'm showing up for me, I'm recording this episode. And so here are some of the key takeaways that have helped me in this season. So I'm a very big fan of protecting your routines. For me, like I said, that is my morning workout. It's my me time. It's how I reset my energy. It really sets the tone, whether it's just going to the gym and stretch, or just making it to the sauna, or making sure I get my run in the morning. I've been trying to improve my 3K numbers. Before I moved out here to Kyle or to Katie, I hit a 7-minute mile, and so I was really proud of that. Or a mile under 8 minutes. So I was really proud of that, and I haven't been able to get back to it. So, I decided, hey, I'm going to start doing this on this day, and just planification means a lot. And so protecting your routines, whether it's just one thing that you're doing or many things that you're doing, routines are really going to help you stay consistent and not lose yourself, because it could very easily derail when you're not constantly doing something. So for me, routines are essential to keep me intact, in sanity, and keep everybody else good. Number 2 would be keeping a personal passion alive. And that's kind of what I've talked about today. That's this podcast, having a creative outlet, not just working out. It's, doing something for others. I know I'm helping, even if it's just one person that downloads the podcast, like for me, that excites me so much to know that somebody listened, and I know they're getting something valuable out of the episode, whether it was 5 minutes, whether it's a whole episode. Like for me, that is something that keeps me feeling fulfilled beyond this role that I've taken, not only as a mom, a boy mom, but now a teacher. And so that is huge on my heart, and I hope to continue doing this as long as possible, because I enjoy it, and I know that it can bring a lot of help to anybody that's needing it. Number 3 would be, planning just for you every week, even if it's small, right? For example, for me, I want to make sure I get my walks in. And so I really made it a thing to bring the boys with me on a walk. It doesn't have to be a run. I'm reading to them. Something else that I've been doing was, like I mentioned, just reading a book and doing it in the sauna. That has been really great to just kind of focus and center on something else, whether it's something that I'm learning or it's a fiction book that I'm really into. Whatever it is, I think those are the moments that are going to make me feel like I did something for myself outside of working out or, physical, and podcast is more mental. I feel like reading is more spiritual for me, for my soul. It makes me feel alive, whether it's learning, whether it's going in and joining in another world, another fantasy. We learn so much from stories, and so that is just one way of me getting something for me that doesn't that includes not only the physical and the mental, but also the spiritual. It just fuels my soul when I know I'm doing something good for my body and my brain and my mind. So number 4 would be, remember why, but also the who. I think, yes, the why is, how do I put this? Why I chose homeschooling. It was very important to me. My kids were doing great, but I kept getting comments of they're not where they should be. And I knew I was going to take a big toll and a big role in this because it was just going to be me. My husband works and he's off at work pretty much all day. So it's just me with them all day, which I love. I love that they come to me. I love that this morning we just sat and cuddled and read just, silly books. And that was great. Like for them to ask me, read one more book, that is warming because especially when I don't know if I mentioned this, but my older son does struggle to read. He doesn't like to read. And, it's something that I struggle. And at first I was like, you need to read 20 minutes. You need to read 20 minutes. And just being able to read there with them and just let them enjoy and listen to me read is one way for them to learn. But also it's a way for me to spend time with them. But again, I want to be there for them, but also not get lost in the trenches. You still matter in the middle of all the plans that you do, even if you work, even if you're not doing homeschool, even if they're going to school. Like this can serve for you because we can get lost in the days of, I have to go to work, I have to take him to practice, I have to do, dinner, I have to make sure I drive here, I do that. We do get lost in the trenches of, maybe not just homeschooling. You could be working, you could be a working mom, you could be doing something else. And we get stuck in this world of doing everything for them. And that's something that we do have to juggle, whether I'm homeschooling, whether I would be going to work. All of these activities do take time, do take work, but I think it is possible to fit it all in. Is it going to be perfect all the time? No, but it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, right? You fit it in where you can, you plan, but you don't put yourself at the bottom of the list. I think that is something that is so important. Like, get this on your head, put it on a sticky note. You should not be at the bottom of the list. You need to learn when you feel your best, you're able to give your best. When you fill your cup, you will be able to fill other people's cups. You will be overflowing with tea to provide to everyone else. So that is something that is key. And I've always made this very crucial and important, and I say this a lot because you are important. And to be good, to be a good mother, to be a good teacher, to be a good wife, to be good at anything, you have to pour to yourself first. So don't put yourself at the bottom of the list. Thanks for listening, mom friends. I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, if you enjoyed this peek into my homeschooling life, and the lessons that I'm learning along the way, if you liked it, if you want to hear more, please let me know. I would love to do more of this. I know this podcast is mostly about health and fitness, but it is everything in between, right? It's all the life and the messiness and the good and the bad and the ugly and, the tears and the joy, just everything, right? So it's everything in between. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring this about in this new chapter, in this new part of my life. So it's really important for me to share what's going on. And so, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.